Check, check, check. All right. My ballot came in the mail. Voters with disabilities. We have several options available to help voters with disabilities cast their ballot based on their needs and preferences. Those options include voting and returning a by mail ballot, visiting an in person vote center, and voting using assistive technology, receiving a link via email to cast a secure electronic ballot. If you're unable to vote, a paper ballot, or sign your own envelope independently, or if you require additional accommodations, please visit slco.to accessibility or call our office. Track your ballot. You now track your ballot status through ballot tracks. Opt to receive notification when your ballot is mailed to you, returned, and counted. Oh shoot, I need to charge my headphones. Check this out. Bomb! Charging cables. This is the way to do it. I knew somebody once who was always broke. And they got a $50 charging cable. And I was like, that's why you're always broke. Why the hell would anybody buy a $50 charging cable? Well, look, it has anti-brake technology. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. If you use your phone as much as I do, and it's always on a charger, it's always on a battery brick. Speaking of that, is it on the brick right now? Do I have my... And it's on a battery brick. No wire lasts more than like a month. So here's what you do. You go on Amazon. You get 5 cables of assorted lengths, 2 3-foot, 2 6-foot, and 1 10-foot cable for $7. $7. And this will last me 6 months. Each of these cables, well, the 10-foot one I'll usually keep at home, plugged in near my bed. And then the 3-foots and the 6-foots each will last me like 2 or 3 months. So I've got 8 months of cableage here for $7. Why anybody would buy a cable that costs $50 blows my mind. That's insane. But granted, the person probably didn't have to buy it themselves. They probably got somebody else to buy it for them. But anyway, today we have a few things to do. I got to put the show together for Monday. But first, I've got to vote. And I'm going to show you. You really don't even have to. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do some research as I vote. But I'm going to show you how simple it is to vote and how easy it is and how there's no reason anybody should not be doing it. Especially not if you think that America is going to the shitter, which it is. We should all be doing the least that we can do to try to help the situation. Actually, I need to charge my headphones. So that's what we're going to do today. think tomorrow, Monday, we'll do the show. I got a pretty good little show planned. We're going to talk about Alex Jones being raided, Steve Bannon going to jail, a couple other things, and then I think we're going to do another Bible thing. Actually, I need to see how big this book is that I want to talk about. If I need to read the whole book before tomorrow, or if I just need to pick a chapter. I think it's a short book. It's a book I don't think I've ever read this book. I have a highlight in it. Oh, this is a great verse in this. Hosea. We're going to talk about the story of Hosea tomorrow. It's not very long. I can read this pretty quickly. Pick out the best sections. We're not going to read the whole book during the stream, but it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 pages. So Hosea. We're not going to talk about it tonight, but I'll probably read this. I'll probably listen to it tonight while I'm at work. And then I also I listened to like a 3-hour documentary about Hitler last night, but I need to listen to some short ones because I was zoning out. It was very boring. If you're not watching a documentary, I kind of just zone out. So I missed a lot of it. But I have to find a short one. So we'll talk about Hitler tomorrow. We'll talk about Hosea. And I need to find what word. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but essentially, some places say that he married a prostitute. Some places say that he married an adulteress. And I feel like I need to find whatever word they're using in Hebrew, because people say that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, but she's never actually called a prostitute. She's called an adulteress. So I need to see the Hebrew word or the Greek word, whatever word they're using in the interlinear, to see if it has two meanings, because maybe it could mean both. But if it just means adulteress, then I don't know why. Maybe back then a prostitute was an adulteress. If you commit adultery, you are considered a prostitute, I guess. But everybody says prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. And I don't know if that's true. I think that might be something that people made up just to promote sex work. Because now there's like a whole movement to legalize sex work. And I'm thinking a lot of these women that they call prostitutes in the Bible are actually just adulteresses. But it's kind of the same thing, I guess. So I don't know. But anyway, Hosea. We'll do the story of Hosea tomorrow. Okay. Voting. Let's get this ballot filled out. This is just local voting, but there was a major flaw in 2020 in the election because all of the conservatives said, we're not going to do mail-in voting. We're going to vote in person so that they can't cheat. And what happened was the Democrats used ballot harvesting and mail-in votes to win the election, quote unquote. So this year, Trump is doing something called too big to rig, where we're going to play their game. And this is what I said. The only way we're going to beat these snakes is by playing their snaky little game. So Trump is setting it up so that this year we're going to do mail-in votes too. And we're going to do ballot harvesting too. And I'm going to see if I can volunteer to canvass to ballot harvest. I don't know if we're allowed to do that in Utah, but I'll go knock doors. Shoot, I'll take a couple hours on my weekends and go knock doors and give me a list of where all the Republicans live, and I'm going to go knock on all their doors, and I'm going to make sure that they filled out their ballots and that they vote. And then if they say, oh, I don't have time to do it, oh, my vote's not worth it, whatever dumb little complaint you make to not take an hour out of your 4 years to go help save America, whatever stupid complaint you make, I'm going to say, give me the ballot, I'll fill it out for you, and I'll take it in for you. I don't know if that's legal here in Salt Lake City, but if it is, I'm down. I'm down, brother. So here's how easy it is. This is all you got to do, right? You get a little pen, a little penny pen. Your ballot's going to come to you in the mail. It's going to come with an envelope already. You just circle the name where it says Trump, put it back in the envelope, put it back in your mailbox. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. It's not that hard. Too big to rig. It's not that difficult. Okay? But this is local politics. But I think so. U.S. Senate, Romney's out. Who we got? Who do we got? We got John Curtis. He's the guy that we always see the ads for, which I think is targeted advertising because I've never seen ads from any of these other guys. Or they're just not that popular. I think John Curtis is a shoo-in for this, but I want to see some of his policies. So let's pull up John Curtis, Jason J. Walton. And it's not even, bro, when you if you don't want to vote in your local politics and then you get a Democrat running your city, don't complain. If you don't want to, when you get your national ballot in the mail, if you can't just circle Trump's name and send it back, don't complain when America burns for the next 4 years. Don't complain when inflation skyrockets for the next 4 years. Don't complain when crime goes up. Don't complain when the border stays wide open and immigrants keep flooding over. Don't bitch about it because you couldn't pick up a pen and circle Trump and send it back in. You couldn't be bothered to do that. Whatever. All right. You don't gotta go get involved in politics. You don't gotta go, canvas or anything like that. None of that. Just circle the little circle, write your name down, send it back in. I know SATs frighten people. I know standardized testing traumatized people and Scantron sheets traumatized people when they were kids. But it's not a test. Jeez. Brad Wilson. And then who's the last one? Trent Staggs. Trent Staggs. That's a strong sounding name. Okay. Trent Staggs is the mayor of Riverton. I think Riverton is pretty cool. Maybe. I don't know. I had an ex-girlfriend that lived in Riverton. All right. And then let's go window capture. So John Curtis. just do display capture. This is the guy that his ads always come up on my thing. He's 64 years old. He's a representative Republican of Utah, 3rd District since 2017. He's a grandpa. Town halls hosted, 12 town halls. He's made 1,094 telephone calls to constituents, 30,000 emails to constituents. He responded to 30,000 emails, helped out 1,900 constituents in the district. Conservative Climate Caucus, Conservative Climate Summit. That's gay. I don't know why Utah is with this go green crap. Like, bro, we have one city. The rest is just acres and acres and miles and miles and miles of open wilderness and farmland and mountains and beautiful. Like, we don't need to focus on going green. We're already a pretty green state. Well, actually, we're a desert, so we're a pretty brown state. That should not be. That should not be a focal point of any of these people's campaigns. Maybe if you're in Salt Lake City, you can focus a little bit on green stuff, but like our current mayor, that's her biggest priority is green energy and rebuilding all the buildings, like new Green Deal crap, rebuilding all the buildings to be green energy buildings. It's like, meanwhile, where are you getting all the money? Where are you getting all the money to do all this? Oh, it's from your homeless population. Your homeless population and your drug overdoses and your drug addiction and your inmate population is skyrocketing. I'm sure they'll be building an energy efficient new jail soon. I guess they're making a new homeless shelter, which that's long overdue. But because you make all this money off of your homeless population and then you spend it on green energy initiatives. Thanks, Mayor. The Conservative Climate Caucus. What the hell is this, John? The climate is changing, and decades of global. What the hell is this? Global industrial era has brought prosperity to the world. It'll continue to change. Private sector innovation, American resources, research and development. This is not a focal point of Utah. What we do: educate House Republicans on climate policies and legislation consistent with conservative values. Organize co-DELs and staff DELs to better understand tech. It's not politics' job to save the climate. That's capitalism will save the climate. Organize member and staff briefings on conservative climate proposals. Bring Republicans to the table to fight against radical progressive climate. Okay, that's good. Bring Republicans to the table to fight against radical progressive climate proposals. So this is pandering. This is like, we know the Democrats are obsessed with the climate crap. Let's talk about the climate stuff, but let's fight against progressive climate proposals that hurt our economy, American workers, and national security. Introduce Republican members of staff to leaders and industry think tanks and more. I don't know, John. I don't know, John. Um, about John. John Curtis represents Utah's 3rd congressional district since being elected to Congress on November 13. John has worked 15 pieces of legislation that were signed into law, ranging in diverse topics such as better managing public lands, combating human trafficking, and supporting small businesses and more. That sounds good. Request a meeting. Curtis bill to control Colorado River salinity levels gets committee. Curtis challenges BLM rule, defends land for Utahns. Curtis votes stop foreign influence in local elections. House Curtis protect public lands. Curtis backs bills to strengthen allies and deter global adversaries. Challenges BLM rule. Okay. I mean, none of that seems to. I guess the foreign stuff in elections. I guess. But I don't know Healthcare, foreign affairs and trade, public lands, energy. See, immigration, okay, I'm cool with that. I know he's big on immigration. That's good. The public lands thing is like not a huge I guess it's cool. Yeah, they keep our mountains nice and lots of places to camp, so that's good. Foreign affairs and trade, healthcare. Although the U.S. has long been a global leader in medical research and innovation, the reality is that our nation's healthcare system is broken. For far too long, the federal government's involvement in burdensome regulations have distorted the health insurance market. With healthcare costs running out of control, Utah's families are struggling to afford everything from prescription medicine to their monthly insurance premiums. Although we have a lot of work to do, I believe the innovation and free market principles can improve our healthcare systems. Read more about what I'm doing, speaking against the medical device tax to reducing government interference. All right, John Curtis seems pretty cool. Who's Jason Walton for Senate in Utah? Personal responsibility, individual freedom, and returning to core constitutional principles. Patriotism, security, and prosperity. But I think John Curtis is way ahead. I think he's going to win, and I don't like supporting losers. Small town value. Jason Walton was born in the fifth generation of Waltons. Fifth generation of Waltons from Monticello, Utah. The Waltons that made Walmart, where he lived during his childhood years. His parents instilled in him small town values, hard work, integrity, and gratitude. He kind of looks like a Democrat, though. He might be a dang op. Career politicians in D.C. are sending billions of dollars to our enemies abroad while ignoring our vets at home and letting cartels escort terrorists and criminals across our southern border. It's time to stand up, stand with me. Utah values, Second Amendment, pass federal constitutional carry laws, stop all red flag laws, oppose federal and state gun registries, prevent all universal background checks, oppose assault rifle and high capacity magazine bans, border security, finish the border wall, end catch and release policies, stop incentives. Bro, this guy seems. I like this guy's website better. It's less showy and more knowy. Does that make sense? It's less showy and more knowy. I know more about this guy from his page and what he supports, and it's less like flashy. I kind of like this. Candidate for U.S. Senate. Unelectable bureaucrats are the enemy of American industry. They pass regulations that destroy businesses just like the ones they are pushing in the ranching industry. Regulations like these cause inflation and hurt all Utahns. I thought the Walmart Waltons were from Arkansas. You're probably right. Look at this corruption. Stop the collusion of big business and big government. Support new conservatives in the weaponization of the FBI. Bro, this guy seems pretty cool. Oppose DEI and ESG in government. Give parents more control of education. Eliminate the federal Department of Education and block grant education funding in states. Achieve energy independence. Open more oil and gas. Bro, this guy. Secure our own border before securing borders overseas. Take care of our veterans. Properly equip our soldiers. Pull out of the corrupt United Nations Charter. Pro-Israel. Gotta have that pro-Israel on there. But granted, he wouldn't be in politics if he wasn't pro-Israel. Take back power from the executive branch by passing Senator Mike Lee's REINS Act. Support Senator Mike Lee. I like Mike Lee too. Balance budget amendment. Promote federalism and separation of powers. Advocate for work over welfare. Cut spending. Ooh, I don't know. I might go with this guy. I like John Curtis, but because he's got ads on YouTube. Maybe if I had seen this guy's ads on YouTube.
I'm Jason Walton. In business, I mentor hundreds of Utahns as they pursue their American dream. The same dream career politicians treat with contempt. They send our money to our enemies abroad while shortchanging our veterans at home. It's not right. They're letting drug cartels escort criminals and terrorists across our border. It's time to stand up. So I'm running for the United States Senate. Stand with me. I'm Jason Walton, and I approve this message.
Oh, I kind of like Jason here. Was that him shaking Mayor Mendenhall's hand? I hope you washed your hand afterwards, Jason. Brad Wilson. Let's see what Brad Wilson's about. He's younger.
Ronald Reagan once said that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, it must be protected, and it must be handed on for them to do the same. We have an opportunity to send a conservative fighter to the U.S. Senate, armed with Utah's conservative values, who will fight for change. And we're also joined together today
I like how none of them are bragging about being Mormon like Mitt Romney.
because we have confidence that
that doesn't mean they aren't Mormon. They might be, but they're not like flaunting it. Like that was one of Romney's big
can
things.
win this fight and move forward with opportunity, with prosperity, and with global leadership. It is time to send a conservative fighter that's not going to wave the white flag when the going gets tough, and a conservative fighter that, when needed, can be trusted to go on the offensive and roll back taxes and stop reckless spending. I am that conservative fighter, and that's why today I am announcing my candidacy to be the next U.S. Senator from Utah. We're starting a movement to protect our freedoms, to deal with the real issues that Utah families are facing at their kitchen table, and to assure that we are a nation of liberty and of opportunity and one of prosperity. And I pledge to you that as your senator, you can always count on me to be in the fight with Utah's values of respect, integrity, and tremendous hard work, always at the forefront.
The next Senator of Utah, Brad Wilson.
I'm not feeling it, Brad. And see, Brad's got another showy, not knowy. Well, it's a little knowy. I like the like simplicity of Walton's page. John's page, you don't know anything about it, but you got to click like 20 things, and it's very showy, not knowy. You know what I mean? Looks like George Bush kind of. I know I'm going off of a lot of superficial things here, like what they look like and what they sound like and what their webpage looks like, because just going off their policies and them never being in Senate, they're all going to say the same things. But this guy seems more focused on like green stuff and public lands. Like I don't see anything: energy, public lands, foreign trade and affairs, and healthcare. Like these three things are all like, now he's got immigration on here. That's cool. But these three things are like more like liberal focuses. You know? Energy is your number one thing on your page and your number one focus. And then public lands. Whereas these guys, Brad and Jason, it's like, look, okay, border, Second Amendment. They're both mentioning Second Amendment. Utah is very big on the Second Amendment. Energy, see? Energy, economic growth, education, putting more money in your pocket. That's also economic growth. Lower the middle class tax burden to help families struggling because of Biden's economy. That's based. That he takes a shot at Biden in there. Securing our border. Yeah, we have a problem with Hondos and Pisces sneaking into Utah. But they come straight to Salt Lake City because our Democrat mayor, our Marxist Democrat gender studies grad, she's got a degree in gender studies, our mayor. That's her education accolades. Our mayor, her college degree is in gender studies. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In Utah. It's a travesty. Brad seems cool. I think so far Walton is in the forefront for me. Mayor Staggs always stands up to the establishment. Now, be rest assured, we are going to get a red. And see, this guy's page, endorsed by Trump. Oh, this guy's a Trumper. Gates, Vivek, Mayor Staggs, proven fighter. Showy, not knowy on his homepage. You see that? Showy, not knowy. You don't really know what he's about unless you start clicking stuff, and then it's going to reroute me to another page. Watch. Probably, maybe. Smaller government, safer family, stronger economy, proven fighter. And then he basically name drops on his page. It's just a bunch of name drops. Proven fighter. Okay, so it's not rerouting me. Volunteer. Ruling elite have driven our country to the brink. 34 trillion in debt. Regulatory. I don't care about that. State run amok. Wokeism. Weaponization of federal agencies against citizen invasion at our border. And unprecedented weakness now on the world stage. The question for voters is this: who do you believe is going to have courage? First, to endorse President Trump. Only one willing to challenge Mitt Romney. From the very onset of his launch video that has been seen over 1 million times, Mayor Staggs, where's your video? Called out broken promises Mitt made in 2018 and articulated reasons why I would take him on. He did the same in an opinion piece back in June. Enough is enough. Why I'm going to replace Mitt Romney.
And every time we compromise, it costs us trillions. We have more IRS agents than border agents. And while we're paying $4 a gallon for gas, they're sending our money unchecked to Ukraine. Now we're almost 32 trillion in debt. Enough is enough. A few years ago, Mitt Romney moved to Utah and told us what he'd fight for.
Here's what I'll fight for: to finally end illegal immigration, to put us on a path to a balanced budget, to push back against federal overreach, and to confirm judges who follow the Constitution.
But the only thing I've seen him fight for are the establishment, wokeness, open borders, impeaching President Trump, and putting us even deeper into debt.
Facts.
I'm Trent Staggs, mayor of Riverton. I didn't come from...
And now, Riverton is close to me. Huh. I kind of like this guy.
From millions. As one of 10 children, I watched my parents pinch pennies on my dad's teacher's salary, and I've taken that same approach to government. As mayor, I've reduced spending and innovated to lower the cost of government. Then, in 2020, when we were told to shut down businesses, schools, and churches, I said no. I've got a track record of fighting big government, and I believe we need that same approach in Washington. I'm not a career politician or a Massachusetts millionaire. I'm a mayor, a businessman, husband, and father who wants his children to grow up with the same opportunities that I did. And I'm running for United States Senate to make sure that they do.
I'm trying to find the polling right now. Just in 2024 polls. Do voters want Republicans or Democrats? How popular is Joe Biden? Who is ahead in the national presidential polls? I want Utah Senate polls. That's what I Google searched. Why are you giving me 538? Come on. Can I have a poll type? U.S. Senate, Utah cycle 2024. It's not showing me. Search the polls, sample. U.S. Senate, pro-Republican polity, guiding polling strategy, no vote for the conservative ballot. Curtis Staggs. Curtis has 42%. Staggs has 14%. Curtis has 27%. Hatch. Who's Hatch? Hatch isn't even on here. Let's do Noble Predictive Insights. Romney, 30%. Reyes. Huh. Okay. Well, for this one, state auditor, we have Tina Cannon and Ricky Hatch. That's an easy choice. I don't vote for women. County Council at Large C, Michael Carey or Rochelle Morris. We don't vote for women, so easy one. Let's get that one out of the way. Attorney General, Rachel Terry, Frank Dempsey Mylar, and Derek Brown. I don't like people with 3 names, so I'm going Derek Brown. I think these ones are... What does the Attorney General do? And County Surveyor. What does County Surveyor do? What does the Attorney General do? The Attorney General of Utah is a publicly elected executive position within the Utah state government. The Attorney General is the chief law enforcement legal officer and lawyer for Utah. All right. What does a county surveyor do? Do they figure out the county surveyor determines property? Yeah, that's what I figured. Determines property boundaries and keeps accurate record of those boundaries. By law, county surveyors must be a licensed professional land surveyor. The surveyor also keeps county maps. Yeah, that's what I figured. It is what it sounds like it is. I don't think, I mean, you're a surveyor. I don't think you have a lot of policy related things. So Bruce A. Williams, his name is Bruce. The other guy's name is Bradley. That's my dad's name. So we're going with Bradley. Again, superficial for these ones. The only one we're doing a lot of research into is the governor and the Senate. For House District 1, we're going Blake Moore. It's either Blake Moore or Paul Miller. I know a little bit about Blake Moore. He's a decent guy, so we're going to pick him. I think he's the one who's currently in there, so we know about him already. So now we just have Senate and Governor. Governor, Phil Lyman and Natalie Clausen, or Spencer Cox and Deirdre M. Henderson. We're going Spencer Cox for governor because he's our current governor and he's based. Both of them have a woman as their running mate, but Spencer Cox is a pretty good guy. So basically all we got to do is pick our Senate. I think I'm between Jason Walton and Trent Staggs. This guy Trent Staggs.
Right now, Washington is broken. And every
let's
time
take,
we compromise, it costs.
Let's take John Curtis. I think had the most advertising because I haven't seen any of these guys advertising. So John Curtis had a lot of advertising dollars. I'm going to take John Curtis out, and I'm going to take Brad Wilson out. Brad seems all right, but only one willing to challenge Mitt Romney. I like that. First to endorse Trump, while other candidates waited until President Trump had won his first primaries in 2024. Staggs proudly endorsed him last August, and Riverton is close, so an opinion piece in Washington Times. No other candidate had the courage to endorse President Trump or say which candidate they would even back, falling back on the milk toast. Is that how you spell milk toast? I always assumed it was like milk toast, and I was like, what the hell is milk toast? But I thought it just meant like milk and toast are both very bland. They're both just like milk flavor or toast flavor. It's just like, nah, it's very milk toast. It's very bland. It's like milk and toast. Like a cup of milk and toast is a very boring breakfast. You need some jam and you need some cereal to go with your milk and your toast. Otherwise, you have a very boring breakfast. That's what I thought, but it's actually milk toast, spelled Milque. The heck? Where does that word come from? Milk toast, a timid or feeble person. Feeble, insipid, bland. A sloppy milk toast composer. So bland, it is bland. Where does that word come from? What is the origin of milk toast? The original Milk Toast was a comic book character created by H.T. Webster from the New York World in 1924. Caspar Milk Toast appeared in the strip of Timid Soul, where he entertained through his timidity, literal readings of signs, and refusal to engage anyone in discussions that could turn to controversy. Huh. Interesting. So he's a boring old fence sitter. That's Milk Toast. Caspar Milk Toast is what the word comes from. Huh. Didn't know that. Learn something new every day. With a Q. Yeah, it's got a Q in it. That's crazy. I'm glad I never wrote the word milk toast because I would have looked dumb. But I just learned a new fact. It's not milk toast. It's milk toasté. Milk toast. Man, Trump supports him. Challenging Mitt Romney. Rejected lockdowns and fought to protect the unborn. I like this guy. None of them have mentioned, none of those other websites mentioned abortion, by the way. Which currently, abortion is illegal in Utah ever since Roe v. Wade got overturned. So, look, none of those other guys mention abortion on their page at all because it's a losing battle. It's like 80% of women support abortion, and if you run on that, people freak out and they don't like all, the strong conservative types. A lot of those guys are like, I'm not going to vote anymore. I don't even want to take part in the system and I'm not going to vote. Meanwhile, the liberals are very good at rallying and organizing, and all of the pink-haired college girls are going to show up to the ballots, or they're going to mail their ballots in. And that's why we lose. And if we lose again, excuse my French, but we're fucked. Just so you know. If Biden wins again, we're fucked. Just so you know. John Doyle did a video about it the other day and explained how if Biden wins again, he could potentially give amnesty to all of these illegal immigrants who have come in. And then they get the right to vote. And then we will never win another election. We will live in a communist America. So this is no joking matter. This is not a laughing matter. We will be fucked. And these stupid Democrats, they're going to vote. All these liberal Karens, all these liberal college kids, they're going to show up. They're going to mail in their ballots. They're going to vote. Then we got men who are saying, I'm not going to vote anymore because my vote doesn't count. Well, it definitely doesn't count if you can't even be bothered to take an hour out of your day to do it once every 4 years. Come on, man. I think I'm going Trent Staggs. He's the only one that mentions abortion on his page. Battle ESG, fought explicit content in school libraries, called out Utah as a sanctuary state, fought to protect the unborn, cuts taxes, challenged Mitt Romney, endorsed by Trump, rejected lockdowns and mandates, bro. He doesn't mention Second Amendment, but I don't think that's something you need to mention in Utah. I think we all know that the guns aren't going anywhere in Utah. Ain't nobody touching the guns in Utah. So I'm pulling the trigger. We're going Trent Staggs. He's on the bottom, and I think they order them by like polling positions. I'm not sure about that. But he's on the bottom, so he might be a long shot. But I think all of these guys will hopefully be better than Mitt Romney. But John Curtis almost seems just like another Mitt Romney, almost. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but they all look like copy and paste of each other, but Trent Staggs' page stands out that he's different. And he's the only one that mentions abortion. So, challenge Mitt Romney. I'm going Trent Staggs, pulling the trigger, guys. I don't think he's going to win. But we shall see. We shall see. And that's it. That's it. Boom. 40 minutes. And I actually did research into the candidates. You don't even have to do that. Just get your ballot in the mail. Circle the bubble that says Trump. Put it back in. Put it back in your mailbox. Take it 30 seconds. If you can't be bothered to do that, then don't bitch when America's on fire. That seriously annoys me. That's always annoyed me. Because when I was a felon and I couldn't vote, I didn't talk about politics. Because why would I talk about politics if I don't do anything to affect any sort of change? If I can't vote, I don't care about politics. What happens is going to happen. I have no effect on it. But as soon as I got the right to vote, I said I need to learn about politics because now it's my responsibility as an American citizen to do the least thing that I could do. You know? And I should know about this stuff. I need to look into this stuff. First time I voted, it was for legalizing medical pot because I was a pothead. I was like, yeah, we got to get legal pot. Let's vote for this policy. But I didn't look into the candidates. I circled a bunch of names and I circled pot legalization. I didn't look into the candidates. I didn't look into studies on what happens when states legalize pot. I didn't do any of that. And I voted and we legalized medical pot in Utah. Which I still think I'm kind of okay with medical pot, except not really because a bunch of people who have no reason to be on medical pot, they don't have glaucoma, they don't have freaking cancer. They say, oh, my back hurts. Oh, my leg hurts. Oh, I get sad sometimes. I need pot. And then they get a pot card from a fake doctor with a fake prescription to some chemically enhanced, taxed pot. Oh, man. Email optional. Oh, you get my email. You know this JS Urban Adventures. They see my email. They're like, oh, we know who that is. No, I'm just kidding. How do you do a D? With a Q. Phone optional. I'm not giving you my phone number. Nobody gets. Floor doesn't even have my phone number. Nobody gets my phone number. And I still get bullcrap calls all the time. Sign here. Oh, you gonna get my signature, boy. All right. Return your ballot. Must be postmarked before through a ballot drop box. We'll drop it in the ballot drop box on the way to work tonight. I think there's one over at the library. And that's it. That's it. Took me under 45 minutes. Sign your envelope. Privacy tab. Do not remove. To be removed by election official only. Warning. Is this a lick and stick or is this a peel off? It's a lick and stick. I hope I did everything right. Let me double check. I think I did everything. I don't have to put my name on that, right? No. See? There. It's not hard. Doesn't hurt. You can say, well, my vote doesn't count. The system's rigged. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you don't take part in it. What if it does work? What if it isn't rigged? What if, I know this is crazy, but what if Biden actually got more votes? Because a bunch of people said the system's rigged and they're not going to vote. Now, I think there was a lot of fishy stuff going on. You know what I think about that, but they did rig it, but they legally rigged it through ballot harvesting and other means, and dead people and cats and dogs voting. A lot of that stuff's been debunked allegedly, but I do think there was a lot of fishy stuff happening. But the only way you beat that system is by, like Trump says, you got to make it too big to rig. We got to have everybody voting. We got to play their game better than they play it. If you can't be bothered to go down to the polls on voting day, you're going to get a mail-in ballot. Everybody's going to get a mail-in ballot again. Just fill it out and send it in. Drop it in a box. It's not hard. If you can't be bothered to do that, then don't complain when Biden is president for 4 more years and we become a communist nation, because it's going to happen if people don't tighten up. Like, this is serious. This is not a joking matter. So, enough of that. Enough of that. I'm just... And if you think I'm talking to you, or you think I'm talking about somebody specific, I'm not. I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to everybody who says they're not going to vote because the system is rigged. Cut that out. Cut that out. That's a losing tactic. That's like you're playing chess with somebody and you're like, I know how I'm going to win the game. I'm just not going to move my piece. No. You know what that means? That means you forfeit. There's a time limit. You forfeit. You lose. Forfeiture is still a loss. That's still taking an L. Not participating doesn't that means we lose. For the Russells, abolitionist risings of the world. Oh, Trump isn't 100% against abortion, so I'm not going to vote for Trump. We lose. We lose. And guess what? Joe Biden gets in. Now we have 9-month late-term abortions, and millions of babies are killed every year because you were mad because Trump wanted a 15-week ban instead of pure abolition, because he didn't do exactly what you wanted him to do. Oh, Trump supports Israel now. Trump always supported Israel. Nothing changed. You like him in 2020? Now that everybody, John Doyle said now that everybody learned about Zionists, it's like their new favorite toy. Everybody learned about Zionism within the past couple months because of the Israel-Palestine stuff, and now it's their new favorite toy. Like, you loved Trump in 2020, but you don't in 2024 because you just learned what Zionism is. And it's like, you know that he hasn't changed his opinions on that. He was the same in 2020 when you supported him. Oh, he waved a gay flag one time. I'm not going to vote for him. Shut up. Shut up. That's so stupid. If you can't see what he's doing, you're an idiot. If you're counter-signaling Trump, saying he waved a gay flag, he supports Israel, I don't like Trump, then you're my enemy. You are an enemy to America right now, because we have 2 choices. Joe Biden or Trump. If you're counter signaling Trump, you are the enemy of America. You are a traitor, and this country is gonna burn. Like, we need to stop playing around. People need to stop playing around because it's gonna get bad if we don't tighten up and stand up and do something. And we don't have to do anything crazy. All we got to do is get the boy in there. And then 4 years later, we get the next one in there. If we get Trump for 4 years and then we get DeSantis for 8 years, I think we can save this country. There's going to be things we don't like about both of them. We don't have to be sucking their D's, you know. It's not like we're not voting for our new boyfriend. You know, we're voting for the leader. If you don't want a leader and you want to live in anarchy, then go into the woods. Go live in the woods somewhere. Not on private property because you don't support that. Go to Alaska. Walk into the wilderness, into the wild. Tired of this crap. Okay. All right. That's all I got to say about that. Now I got to put the Monday show together. I did my rant. If you feel attacked by that, well, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. If it applies, don't feel offended. Just listen to what I'm saying. Because this is important. It's not a joke. Like, come on, men. Tighten up, men. And the women. Unfortunately, you're allowed to vote, so we're going to need you too. Don't say, even if you're a based Christian woman and you think we need to repeal the 19th, unfortunately, it's not repealed yet. So currently, we need you to vote too. Women. Not for Democrats. I don't care how emotional it gets. And you say, well, my husband says that we're going to vote for Trump, but I feel bad for these immigrants. They're suffering and we need to help them. And I actually kind of like the idea of abortion because what about rape and incest? What about medical emergencies? We need to have abortion, even though, I'm a Christian and I don't think we should do it. But there are situations where we might need to. So I'm going to secretly vote Democrat while my husband votes Republican. No, 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 women. And if your husband's a beta male and he's voting Democrat, then you need to leave his ass. I keep saying I'm done, but I keep going. Okay. I'm gonna stop the window share so that you guys don't get spoiled on what's coming with the show. Maybe I can find something to play while I put this together. Oh, he's in Vegas. His speech in Arizona was pretty good. Now he's in Vegas. Old guy finally jumps on. Man plays dead as Brown Bear approaches him. I thought with brown bears you're supposed to fight. Isn't it I thought grizzlies you play dead and brown bears you're supposed to fight. That's fake. It's not fake, but that's like he's friends with that bear. Copyright. How did Trump get freaking rights to this song?
You're right. You know, it's not bad. I heard it was going to be terrible. I heard it was going to be so hot. Did you see we put out a notice saying don't come? So only 20,000 people showed up. There's never been anything like this, but it's great to be back in the beautiful state. You know the state. We love it. And you always have to say it correctly. Nevada. You got to call it Nevada. With thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, and that's what you are.
Joe Biden, you're fired.
We're going to win Nevada. We're going to defeat your Biden-loving radical left Senator Jackie Rosen, who's terrible.
God,
by the way, she's a terrible senator. We're going to knock off the Biden crime family as a Biden family of crime, including the fact that they've weaponized the Department of Justice like has never happened in this country. We're going to end the weak and failed regime of crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, and we're going to make America great again. For 3.5 years, the people of Nevada have had a front row seat to Joe Biden's evil and criminal obliteration of our southern border. It was criminal what he's done. Did you see the other day he came out with a little plan? Let's make it a little bit tougher because he's getting killed in the poll. We're leading here by like 12 points, you know that. All we have to do is stop the steal, and we have it made. Just stop the steal. We can't let that happen again. Last week, Crooked Joe signed an executive order that is pro-invasion, pro-child trafficking, pro-woman trafficking, pro-human trafficking, and pro-drug dealers. It's a pro-drug dealer bill. It's weak. It's ineffective. It's bullshit what he signed. That's turning out to be like a deplorable. Remember deplorable when Hillary said deplorable? She said deplorable, and that was not good. That was not a good word to use. This word seems to be catching on a little bit, but in a much more positive way than deplorable. That was not good. She actually said deplorable and irredeemable. Do you remember? And I heard it. And I said, wow, that irredeemable is really a bad word. And it didn't catch on. It's really a bad word. What caught on was deplorable. So what the hell do I know about politics, right? Millions of people will continue pouring in, and they're coming right through the border like they have never come through before. What he signed means nothing. In fact, it makes it easier. In my opinion, it opens the border still further. We have people coming into our country. We're going to end up making, and I say this and I say it all the time, November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. If Joe Biden truly wanted to sign an executive order to stop the invasion, right now all he needs to do is say, I hereby immediately reinstate every single border policy of a gentleman named Donald J. Trump.
Whatever your business needs, Vistaprint.
You know, he doesn't need anything. He could have done this. He's a little late, by the way. Number one, he's late. Number two, it's meaningless what he signed. It's just a PR ploy, as usual. It's disinformation, misinformation, talk. They talk as our country goes down the tubes. Less than 4 years ago, I handed Crooked Joe the strongest, most secure border in the history of our country. We never had a border like that. We built 571 miles of border wall. It was unbelievable. We ended all catch and release. We had the remain in Mexico, safe third country, And then we had also Title 42. You remember, everything was so good. If this guy just, goes to the beach all the time, somebody thinks he looks good in a bathing suit. I don't think so. And he has that little chair that weighs about like 7 ounces. It's meant so children can lift it and very old people can lift it.
Always talking about the chair.
He's not old. He's incompetent. He's not old. He's not old. I know people that are 88, 89, 92.
Sharp as a
man named
tack.
Bernie Marcus, founder of Home Depot. He's Bernie Marcus is 95, I think, and he's 100. You talk to him, he's 100% sharp. This guy, there's just something missing, and there always has been. By the way, he always had the worst and dumbest foreign policy. There always has been. Under the Trump administration, if you crossed our border illegally, we caught you and we brought you back. We took you back from where you came. It was very simple. We had the greatest. Think of it. All he had to do is leave my people in place, leave everybody in place, and he wouldn't be going through this right now. I think it's one of his many big problems. I think the Afghan situation was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, actually. He has a lot of bad days. I could name them, but we don't have enough time. We only have a few hours. We don't have enough time. And now, by the way, it's 110, but it doesn't feel it to me, right? So we'll stay out here for a little while. If anybody gets tired, you'll let me know. And if anybody goes down, if you start going down, we have people, they'll pick you up right away. They'll throw water. You know, they were so worried. Everybody was so worried yesterday about you. And they never mentioned me. I'm up here sweating like a dog. Secret Service said, we have to make sure everyone's safe. I said, what about me? Oh, we never thought of that. They don't think about me. I'm working my ass off. I'm working hard. This is hard work. Front row Joe. Front row Joe. Under Biden, the invasion is just a disaster what's happened. It's never happened like this. In less than 4 years, Crooked Joe has imported more illegal aliens into our country than at any other time in the history of our country, times maybe 50. There's never been anything like this happening to our country. They're changing the fabric of our country. They're destroying our country. They're doing things that are unthinkable. This open border, so many bad things, but this open border situation where you're allowing millions and millions of people to flood our country, we can't handle it. No country could handle it. It's not sustainable. The entire world is emptying their prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions. They're emptying them out into your state, but they're emptying out into all 50 states. They're coming in, and there's no such thing as a border state anymore. That border is so meaningless. They just walk right through. They go right through the so-called border states, and they end up in Iowa. They end up in Idaho. Remember when Joe said it's great to be in Idaho, and he was in Iowa? He always does that. If I ever did that, it would be over. They'd say that's the end of his political career. He's cognitively impaired. No. You know, I had a second test. I aced it. I aced both of them. Not easy to ace. Biden should have a cognitive test, number one. They say it's unconstitutional. That's a good excuse. He should have a cognitive test, and before the debate in 2 weeks, he should take a drug test, because I'm willing to take one.
Oh! What are you implying, Trump? What are you implying? Did he say before the debate he needs to take a drug test?
Weeks. Well, that's a good excuse. He should have a cognitive test, and before the debate in 2 weeks, he should take a drug test, because I'm willing.
Damn! What are you implying, Trump? Are you implying that old Joe's going to be methed out? Old Joe's going to be twacked up? Is that what you're implying? Brown bears, you're supposed to urinate on sight in hopes he withdraws? Is that a joke, or are you serious? Are you saying, like, pee your pants out of fear and hope he runs away, or are you saying, like, that the smell of urine would keep him away? I think that's a joke, but I'm not sure. I know there's one you're supposed to get big and yell and be ready to fight if you have to. And then there's one you're supposed to play dead. I don't think you're ever supposed to run. I think running is always a bad idea with a bear. I think it's brown bears. You get big and you stand your ground and you yell and you get loud. And then if they come at you, you fight back. But like with a grizzly, you ain't freaking taking on. You ain't fighting a dang grizzly. You just you play dead, you let it attack you. It happens quickly. They're just gonna tear into you real quick and then they're gonna leave. I was listening to I Survived or whatever, and this guy got tore up by a grizzly, and then he waited, and it was over quick like he expected. But then when he finally decided to sit up, he waited like 5 minutes, and he finally decided to sit up and check himself out and try to call for help. The bear was only like 20 feet away, so he didn't wait long enough. And as soon as the bear saw him sit up, the bear charged at him again and ripped him up again, but he did survive. 500 Smith & Wesson. Right, yeah. Yeah, you got to have that blicky on you. So Trump is implying that Joe Biden might be a little methed up at the debate. Of course he will. And there's no audience. And I was saying that it was Anderson Cooper moderating it. It's not. It's Jake Tapper. I think Trump called him. What did Trump call him? Trump called him like Jake Crapper or something. Or Fake Tapper. He called him Fake Tapper. Said, Fake Tapper. It's going to be moderated by Fake Tapper. We have to sit down in a little room. No audience. They thought I wouldn't accept it. I'm accepting it. But yeah, Joe needs a dang drug test before the debate.
Willing to take one. So Nevada's being turned into a dumping ground, and you are. The whole country is being turned into an absolute dumping ground for what's
Families
happening
of the Sandy
in
Hook shooting.
Venezuela. Here's a statistic that's a terrible statistic. So countries are dumping all of their criminals into our country, right? And also some people that are not criminals but are not productive. They're not going to be productive. They're not exactly going to make America great again. And they're coming in here in huge waves in the caravans. A name I think I came up with. I came up with a lot of good names, like Crooked Joe. Used to be Crooked Hillary. I took it off. Now we call her Beautiful Hillary because we don't care anymore about that. We call it, because what was better, Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? What was? Okay, let's have a poll. I'll change it. He's both. He's both. He's crooked. Okay, wait. We'll do a poll. We'll go Sleepy first, and then we'll go crooked. Which is a better name for Joe Biden? Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe?
I think Crooked Joe has it.
So in Venezuela, they took all of their criminals, a very heavily crime-ridden country. They took all of their criminals and they dumped them into a place called the United States of America. They're down to about 40% left, and they're all coming. I can't believe it took them so long. If I were the heads of one of the many, and this is happening all over the world, if I were the heads of one of the countries, I would have been totally 100% by now. Their crime rate, they just announced, is down 72%. So their crime. So next year what we'll do is we'll meet in Venezuela because it's going to be a lot safer. Unless one thing happens, unless you make me president, in which case we'll be very safe. So last year, it's terrible. You know, this is as far as the, look at all the fake news back there. Look at all the fake news. They are fake. They are fake. Did you see Biden yesterday in Normandy, and he was in France? He embarrassed us so badly, right? Does everyone know that? He embarrassed us so badly, it was terrible. It's just terrible. This is not a representative for what used to be the greatest country. This country is Really, we are a nation in major decline, and we're going to stop it immediately. Last year, a father from Pasadena, Texas, came home from work to tell me that his 11-year-old daughter was strangled to death. She had been sexually assaulted, and her body had been stuffed into a trash bag, thrown in a hamper. He came home to find this, put under the bed, found his daughter. They were looking for his daughter. Everyone was looking. She was dead under a bed, cut up. Charged with the murder was an illegal alien monster who had just infiltrated our border, released by crooked Joe Biden. Came in through the Biden administration. You know, it was very hard to get in through the Trump administration. I mean, you're never going to have it perfect, but we had it about as close as you're going to get. We had the best border in the history of our country. We had the least drugs coming in over 34 years. And now the drugs are pouring into our country. But they let this monster loose to prey on innocent children. He'll probably have a lawyer. He'll get out. Other people don't get out. They indict guys like Trump for what? The election was rigged. The election was a rigged election. Oh, let's indict him for saying that. Whereas you got guys like this. You got guys that kill people, and they're fine. They're just fine. Now, we're screwed up as a country. We're going to unscrew it very quickly. It's going to take place very quickly. And then you had the horrific case of Laken Riley. I got to know the parents well, the family well. The young nursing student, top of her class. She was from Georgia, and she was savagely beaten, horribly beaten, killed. And Joe set loose this monster into our country, wouldn't have come into the country under us. And then on top of everything else, when I met the family, they were so beautiful, so incredible. And Joe Biden couldn't pronounce her name. He talked about her in Congress, and he was only forced to talk about her, but he apologized to her killer for calling him illegal. He called him an illegal alien, and everybody got angry at him, so he started apologizing, not to the family of Laken Riley, but he apologized to the killer because he called him a killer. This is where we are. Under the Trump administration, we will not be apologizing for all of these people that are coming in illegally, because there won't be many people that come in illegally anymore. They'll come in, but they'll come in legally. You'll be able to hire them, and you'll be able to work with them. But we want people to come into our country. They have to come in legally, okay? So with his border nightmare, Joe Biden is also waging an all-out war on the workers of America, especially African Americans and Hispanic Americans and African Americans are the suffering most with this incredible illegal alien group that's coming in and staying at our luxury hotels. And you know, they're being put up in hotels. Some of them are luxury hotels. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, I got no teleprompters, and I haven't from the beginning. These people, that probably means we'll make a better speech. No, I got no teleprompter. You know, I pay all this money to teleprompter people, and I'd say 20% of the time they don't work. They don't work. The thing's waving around. They can't tie it a little bit tighter. I'm trying to look at. So we're all in this together, everybody. We're all in this together. Just a mess. I had one in Ohio where we had 45-mile-an-hour winds. You were there. This is a front row Joe. He's at everyone. This guy, wouldn't it be incredible? He's gone to 250 if he voted for Biden. He's going to vote for Biden. I don't think so. I think it would be suicide before Biden, right? And then we have the wall. We call him the human wall. He's been here so much. And these are great Americans, you know. They're great, great Americans. But we had one in Ohio where that teleprompter was like the sail on a sailing boat. We had 50-mile-an-hour winds, almost 50. And Bernie Moreno, I had to go up and do it for Bernie. And before I started my speech, as I was walking off as I'm coming down the runway, walking off the runway onto the stage, the teleprompters got blown to pieces. We had 60,000 people, and I was standing up there all by myself. And I said, we got a problem. I got no teleprompter, I got no notes, and we had one of the greatest days, don't you think? You think Biden could do that? I don't think so. And by the way, and Bernie won his primary, and he won it convincingly, so we obviously did a good job, but it was good, and now I think he's going to beat a man named Brown, a senator named Brown. You have a good man named Brown right
God.
Here, you know. Very good.
Bro, this walk with Israel thing is so gay.
They have a man that's not so good, and I think Bernie Moreno in Ohio is going to win.
Wow.
But it's the same thing. So these things are virtually...
So I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, but I haven't seen this yet. I'm watching a video right now. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but so they're doing the Red Line rally, which is a pro-Palestine protest at the White House. Meanwhile, they were doing a walk with Israel rally. But I guess like all the Pride Month people joined the walk with Israel one. So it makes Israel look super gay. And the Palestine people look like warriors, evil, like demon worshiping warriors, but they look angry and like going to battle, while Israel is like dancing and face painting. And I guess there was a bit of a confrontation. What the hell is this? This is fun, crazy. What the? Okay, they both look kind of gay, to be honest, actually. Both sides. Yeah, actually, I was wrong. The pro-Palestine are a bunch of fat liberals. They both look gay. Oh my God. Go to work. Don't you people have jobs? Oh my God. So gay. So both sides are retarded. God, this is so stupid. Oh my God, this is so stupid. Wow. They both look so lame. All of them. Everybody at these things. I don't know. The Israel side looks a little gayer, though. What the hell is going on in the world? Oh my God. I don't think I have time to do reels tomorrow, because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Don't know if I can do the reels.
Useless, but I'll refer to them every once in a while for notes. It is crazy. The illegal immigrants are turning, and they're turning at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They're fighting our families. They're totally destroying our black population. They're totally destroying our Hispanic population. And you know what else they're destroying? And for you, it means a little bit less, but it means quite a bit in this state. They're killing unions. They're killing unions because the unions are not able to survive. They're not able to survive this onslaught. It's making them impossible. They've worked hard. They've worked long to get their salaries up a little bit. They're not able to do it. Virtually 100% of the new jobs under Biden have also gone to illegal aliens. Did you know that? 100%. And you know, these people are so bad. They will correct me when I say 100%. 100% of the new jobs have gone to illegal aliens. Can you believe it? And that's where we are. Meanwhile, real wages of African Americans and the workers from all over the world that came here legally, they're down 6% under Crooked Joe.
Crooked Joe.
And I thought I'd be wilting up here. The only thing that pisses me off are the teleprompters. It's so much easier. The only one that can't read a teleprompter is Joe Biden.
Did it just cut back?
It doesn't help him. But I thought what I'd do is I'd read, if you want. Should I do it? Should I do it? Because it's about the border. You know, in 2016, we had a great campaign. and it was mostly about the border. Marjorie would tell you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's here someplace. It was about the border. Where the hell is Marjorie? Right? It was about the border. Great. She's not from this particular section, but they love her in this section too. But it was about the border, and I did such a good job that in 2020, where we got millions of more votes than we did in 2016, but I couldn't talk about the border. But now, if you look at it, what's happened is unbelievable. What's happened with respect to the border, this border is 20 times worse. 2016 was terrible, but this is a different league. This is a different level. This is the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been, no third world country has a border like that. And no I'll tell you what, no third world country has weaponization where they go after political candidates like we have either. This guy can't get elected anything without cheating. The only way he can get elected is to cheat. And the way they're using it this time, because it's harder to go without the COVID, they use COVID to cheat and lots of other things. But this time they're using weaponization of Department of Justice, go in to see the local DAs, go in to see the attorney generals to cheat. But the border is a big deal, and this is somehow caught on. So everybody wants to hear the snake. Okay. Can you hear me in the back? You know, I wish the cameras would focus on the people here. They never show it. They never take, even the sort of friendly ones, you know, I say semi-friendly. You know, the friendly ones, I do a great show with Sean Hannity or Jesse or Janine or Laura or somebody, and we do a great show, or a lot of great people. And then they put on commercials that are just horrible, and they're false. I say, what the hell are you putting commercials on like that? I do a show, and then they put 4 commercials on. It is so stupid, and they shouldn't be doing that. You know, they shouldn't be doing that. The other side, fake news CNN, which of course has no ratings, although they are doing the debate. They'll get some ratings for the debate. They're going to get big ratings. So this is about our border, and it was a song written a long time ago, not about the border. We made a couple of minor changes. But it's very true, and I think it's very true. It's just said happy birthday. Thank you, darling. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it.
To you. It's his birthday? Is it Flag Day? Wait, is today Flag Day? I had that in my phone. No, it's not his birthday till the 14th. His birthday is on Flag Day, which is the 14th. Little early, guys.
Thank you. I wish. Thank you. You know, there's a certain point at which you don't want to hear happy birthday. You just want to pretend the day doesn't exist. But anyway, but there's still a big difference, you know, there's still a big difference. It's long, long way. My father lived a long time, my mother lived a long time, and they were happy and they were great. So maybe we're going to live a long time, I hope so. But we're going to turn this country around. We're going to turn it around really fast. We're going to do the things that you've wanted to do. We're going to bring it back to 4 years ago and do even more. You know, people are saying to themselves, were we better off 4 years ago or are we better off now? And it wasn't even close. We had the greatest economy in history. What we did in taxes, nobody's ever done. Even Ronald Reagan gave a big tax cut. We gave the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulatory cut. Nobody did what we did, and everybody was happy. And now they see this person in that he doesn't know he's alive. He doesn't know he's alive. I mean, I watched him yesterday with Macron. Macron's a sharp guy. You know, he's for France, right? He's for France. We're for this. And Biden doesn't even know where the hell he is. And especially in one particular instance, that was not good yesterday. And I believe that happened, okay? And he makes up stories. He said...
He pooped his pants again. What the... I believe it happened. He's incompetent and incontinent. Somebody needs to drop that joke.
Something about me that I stood over the graves of soldiers. Nobody loves the military more than me. Nobody. Nobody respects it. And nobody's treated it better. Nobody's done as much for the military as I have. But he said I stood over graves of soldiers, and I said, these people are suckers and losers. Think dead soldiers from World War I. I said this was a made-up deal from a magazine that's failing, Financial Disaster, by a guy that is a horrible radical left lunatic named Goldberg.
So I'm trying to find a short Hitler documentary that we can watch. Unfortunately, they're all really long. I can't find any like 20 or 30-minute ones. There's a 43-minute one, 44-minute, 49-minute, 44-minute. This is an hour-long timeline one. Story of Hitler's private doctor, origin of a despot, rise and fall of the Nazis, episode 6, Hitler's biggest blunder, blood money, inside the Nazi economy, how did Hitler rise to power, the death of Adolf Hitler. Like, God, it really felt like every other dictator we did, I could find a lot of like 20, 30-minute documentaries. All of the Hitler ones are really the shortest one I could find is 45 minutes. This I watched a couple months ago. This is about his book. I don't even know if I have to be very careful. Oh, his bunker. That's pretty cool, but that's National Geographic. That'll be copyright. Kidnapping campaign in Nazi Germany. The most evil human. Hitler's henchman. The man who made the Holocaust possible. Hour, 44 minutes. There's no short ones. The death of Adolf Hitler is 30 minutes. Like, how come you can cover Mao in 20 minutes, but nobody's got a 20-minute documentary of Hitler? So we might have to, like, pick one of these 45-minute ones and jump around through it a little bit. Hitler's end in Stalingrad. How Nazi war criminals fled to South America. Oh, yeah, they went to Argentina. Huh. We're going to have to do one of these 45-minute ones and maybe kind of skip around in it a little bit. Hitler in color 4K. Prelude to War, Hitler's Countdown to War. Hitler Rise and Fall, full documentary. It's 48 minutes. So we can either play it a little faster or kind of skip around through it a little bit, because I can't spend, like, we can talk about it for an hour, but with me talking and going through everything I want to go through and my notes and stuff, plus watching a documentary, I was hoping for like a 30-minute documentary. Whatever. This one is Rise and Fall from Slice Doc. It's 49 minutes long. We'll probably do this one. And then kind of either double time it or skip through it a little bit. Because I also want to talk about his rise, his fall, his bunker, and the Argentina trip. Führer bunker. I don't want that. How come that one showed his bunker outside in like the mountains, but this one, see, there's multiple kind of like the tomb of Jesus has multiple possible locations. I think some of these locations, there's like multiple locations of where I'm not comparing Hitler to Jesus. Is not what I was doing there. I was saying we don't really know exactly where his bunker was. This could have been a fake bunker. I know somebody and then we got to talk about Operation Paperclip, and all sorts of stuff gets brought into this. Like I could do a whole thing just on the wiener. Oh man, I don't know if we're gonna have time to do Hosea tomorrow. I think there's gonna be too much time dedicated to the Führer in dissecting a dictator. What was the other thing I just said? Oh, Operation Paperclip. Project Paperclip, sorry. Well, Wikipedia calls it Operation Paperclip. I've always heard Operation Paperclip, but Project Paperclip, known by many today as Operation Paperclip, which is actually a misnomer. It was originally called Project Overcast. Huh, interesting. See? I learn multiple new things every day. We learned how milk toast is properly spelled. We learned that it's not Operation Paperclip or Project Paperclip. It's actually Project Overcast. Okay, cool. Okay, I think I got everything I need about the Führer. I think maybe we skip memes and reels and we do like a no funny stuff tomorrow. No jokes, no funniness. We got a serious show tomorrow. I think I'll save Hosea for next week cuz I still need to read it and listen to it. Yeah, I think we'll skip that. So tonight while I'm working, I got to listen to Hitler docs, more of them. I've got to gather memes. I think Stubborn One sent me a bunch of memes last week that I can use. And some reels. So we can do memes and reels if we don't do Hosea. And then next week, then we'll get more. We'll do, since we've done this, the dissecting a dictator will be over. We can start doing some Bible thumping. And eventually we'll get into a Apocrypha series where we go through a bunch of books of the Apocrypha. I don't think I have time to do the breakdown of Hosea. And I probably read it years and years and years and years ago. So I still have to reread it, go through and highlight all my key verses. So I think we'll do that Next week, we'll talk about Hosea. Do some Bible thumping. Tomorrow, I think I got enough news and stuff for tomorrow. I just need memes and reels now. I'm seeing lots of people with Trump stickers on their cars and flags in their yards. Good.
Made up a story that I said this, and they put it out, and it's been going around for 3 years. And it's just like Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 51 intelligence agents, that phony story, remember? The laptop is from Russia, they said. And they should be prosecuted for what they did. Okay, they should be prosecuted. Let's see what happens. But can you imagine? And now they took an ad using, they know it's phony, they know it's false, and now they took an ad using it. These are sick people, and I hope the military revolts at the voting booth and just says, we're not going to take it. They can say anything. They're a party of misinformation, disinformation, cheating on elections, open borders, high interest rates, and high taxes. That's all. And you can't get elected like that. So they make up stories, disinformation, a story like that. Think of it from a practical standpoint. I'm standing there with generals and military people in a cemetery, and I look at them, I say, these people are suckers and losers. Now,
Suckers and losers.
think of it. Unless you're a psycho or a crazy person or a very stupid person, who would say that anyway? But who would say it to military people with military? Because as President of the United States, I would say if I made that statement, if I have generals here, if I have it, I would imagine that most of them would end up in a major fist fight with the president, okay? And you know what? I would have said it was okay in that one instance. There's no, they made up a story.
Oh, they're gonna,
oh
my God.
Just like a lot of the fake
You know the media is gonna grill him on that. He said it's okay to have a fist fight.
stories are made up by these people because they're among the most dishonest people in the country. The fake news. They're dishonest people. So they made up this story and they go with it like I said it. And you know what? Some people believe it because they believe it. You know, they hear it from these people. They believe it. It's a shame. It's a shame you can get away with it. But we have to talk. If we don't talk about it, this happened 3 years ago. And my geniuses said, oh, sir, don't mention it because nobody believes. But it just never goes away. I got to mention it.
God,
I don't like mentioning it. But for me to say suckers and losers about people that died in World War I in front of military people, it's not a possibility you could say a thing like that. So it's a shame. It's a shame. That's why we have to win. We have to bring our country back from this horrible abyss because we're doing really badly. And this is one of the reasons why. So this is
This meme is so funny, but I've done it before. It's got AOC in her Boston University shirt like this. And it says, don't be fooled by big old socialist titties. They're meant to hypnotize and enslave your ass. Thomas Sowell.
titled The Snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path
These are
along
some
the lake,
great memes.
a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night. As soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake.
Oh, the snake's gonna bite her.
Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight.
Snake's gonna bite her.
Instead of saying, thank you, ma'am, the snake gave her a vicious bite. Bite, vicious bite.
Vicious
Take
bite.
me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I saved you, cried the woman, and you're so tender and so nice. But you know, that if I hadn't taken in, your skin would not look so good, and you would have bitten me. But why? You bit me. Why did you bite me? Please, please, tell me why. Why did you bite me?
He's going off script while he's reading a poem. I don't know if that's like, you can't ad lib while you're reading a poem. It messes up the poetry. But anyway, imagine Joe Biden trying to read this poem. Take me in. It's a snake. The snake. The snake bit her. The snake bit her.
You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before I took you in. And that's happening at our border, you see, because we're taking in people that are a disaster for our country. So it's all happening at our border, and we're taking in people at levels that have never taken, this has never happened before, ever, never, and we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let them ruin our country. We're not going to let them destroy our country. So I want to tell you a couple of things, and this is the first time I've ever made this.
Stubborn One sent me these memes last week, but I had already gotten my memes from other places, so I didn't use any of them. These are some of the funniest memes. Oh my god. This is some of these memes that he sent me are freaking so funny. Oh, these are good ones. Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is the first time I've said this, and for those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy, because when I get to office, we are going to not charge tax.
They're all like sexual, but they're funny. Like, where are you getting these memes, Stubborn One?
Is on tips, people making tips. We're not going to do it, and we're going to do that right away, first thing in office, because it's been a point of contention for years and years and years, and you do a great job of service, you take care of people, and I think it's going to be something that really is deserved. More importantly, popular or unpopular. I do some unpopular things too if it's right for the country. I do what's right. But so those people that have jobs in restaurants, whatever the job may be, a tipping job, we're not going after for taxes anymore. This will be ended. And I announced that for the first time I've brought it up. First time anyone's brought it up. I think it's never been brought up before, and I also think it's very appropriate. So we have a president who is destroying our country. We have a president who wants all electric cars in a very quick start. He wants to have all electric cars. Everything has to be electric. And by 2030, that's in 6 years from now. And you know what? Electric cars are fine. They have a problem. They don't go far. They cost a lot to buy. And they're all made in China. Other than that, I think they're wonderful, right? And I'm going to end that mandate on day one when I get to office.
Why are they all sexual?
I met with the truckers over the weekend, and great.
I guess it's Degenerate Sex Month, so all the memes he sent me are like sexual memes. Oh my god. This is horrible. We got some very sexual memes tomorrow for Pride Month.
Roger Penske is a trucker. He's also a great Indianapolis. He won it 20 times. Can you believe it? Think of how smart you have to be. Japan, Germany, all these nations, they spend billions and billions of dollars trying to win the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, this is
And Roger
horrible.
Penske's won. He just won it again. He's won it 20 times. Think, that's the kind of brain power we need. That's what we want in our military. And we have people like that. A lot of them are shut out because they're woke. The woke stuff will be gone within a period of 24 hours, I can tell you. And go out and buy Pete Hegseth's book because he tells you about it better than anybody. Pete Hegseth, he wrote a book. He tells you about the woke military. But I will tell you, we defeated ISIS and they weren't woke. They weren't woke. We have great generals. We have not the guys on television. We have great generals. We defeated ISIS in a record time. It was going to take 5 years. They thought it would. I remember in Washington, sir, it'll take 5 years. I went to Iraq. I met with the generals. I met a General Raisin Kane. His name was Raisin. His first name was Daniel Kane. They called me Raisin. I said, you mean your name's Raisin Kane? I love that. I love you. I've been looking for you. Anyway, long story. You've heard the story. But we knocked him out in 5 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years. He said, we'll hit him from the left. We'll hit him from the right. We'll hit him underneath and on top. We'll hit him. They won't know what the hell happened, sir. How long will it take? 4 weeks, maybe you'll have time left over. I said, how come they tell me in Washington 5 years? Because they don't know how to fight, sir. They don't know how to fight. We have a great military. We have a great, great military. So I'm going to end the electric mandate. We're going to end the electric mandate also on truckers. So the truckers come to see me. They say a truck going to California. They like that. Tell them to make the microphone louder. It's terrible. It's dead. He just came up. Are the teleprompters not working, sir? Not even a little bit. Great job. And then I don't pay the company that does it, right? And then I end up with a story Trump doesn't pay. I don't pay contractors that do a shitty job. And that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. You can't read a word. But you know what? It usually ends up that the speech is better. It's crazy. Then they'll say, oh, isn't it terrible? Trump takes advantage of his No, I take great. When I have a good contractor or a subcontractor, nobody gets paid faster. But when I have contractors that do this kind of work, you can have them. Could you imagine if Biden was up? He's no good with a teleprompter. He's the worst I've seen. But could you imagine if the teleprompters went off? Here's Biden. He wouldn't even say anything because he's incapable. He'd probably go pause, pause. How about when he's reading the teleprompter and then they say pause, meaning, maybe you'll get about 3 people clapping. And he goes pause. No, he'd just walk off the stage like this. Oh, teleprompter. Oh. This guy is the worst. I always treated him with a certain respect. I hated the election was rigged and stolen, whether you like it or not. Big. We did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016. Got millions more votes. Everybody knows it. They said if you got the same number, we got millions of more votes. Millions. That's by them. That's by them. But when he indicted me over nothing, they opened up a whole new box. And then I got indicted again and again and again. I was never indicted. In a period of this little tiny period of time, I was like a ping pong ball. Sir, they indicted you here. They indicted you in Georgia. They indicted you in New York. Then they indicted you again in New York, sir. And it was all over. Can I use that word again? But you'll use it. A disgrace. A disgrace. And what they've done is they've weaponized the Department of Justice. The only thing they didn't understand is that we just had the largest fundraising effort in a period of 1 week.
My new bed came and the box that it's in is like falling apart. So I'm hoping that there's no missing pieces or I'm going to be pissed. I got the other room totally cleaned. So I think after Monday and then we'll do the after party stream. And then Tuesday, before I start the stream, I'm going to move all this crap into that room. So I won't have any like wall decor. I got to figure out how to get these sound panels. Whoa. What happened? Where did it go? Oh, what happened? Where'd it go?
Week than anybody has ever had. Did you know that, Marjorie? We took in hundreds of millions of dollars, and much of it was small money donors, what's called a small, average $71. Hundreds of thousands of people contributed that they wouldn't have except for the court case. And our poll numbers are higher now than they were before because the people are watching, and they know a fake deal. And this guy can't get elected without it. He can't get elected. He's incompetent. He's an incompetent person. But I never treated him this way. When I got indicted the first time, and then it was like, sir, you've been indicted again. I heard they were going to do it someplace else, and they stopped it. They said, we're indicting this guy into office. The people get it. Normally when that happens, they go to the microphone and they announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going home with my family, and I'll be fighting for my name. That's the last you ever hear from the person. We have higher poll numbers now than we've ever had. Too big to rig. That's what we want. Too big to rig. Too big to rig.
Did I do that one last
Too
week?
big to rig. That's what we want. I have higher numbers than we've ever had. We're leading this crooked thief of a president. And I would never have said that before. I didn't speak glowingly. He's a lousy president anyway. But I would never have said he's a corrupt, very dumb person. He's a low IQ individual, and he always was. This isn't age. He's worse now than he was 10 years ago. But if you go back 30 years ago, he was considered the dumbest person in the U.S. Senate. Ted Kennedy told me that himself, who was a friend of mine, which is shocking. Shocking that he was a friend. He was on a slightly different persuasion, Marjorie. But he told me that. He's the dumbest person in the Senate, and he has been from day one. How about this? On the documents. They go after me for documents, and then they find out that Joe has 10 times the number of documents than me. I said, you have to be kidding. And they released him. I said, I don't want to be released like that. They released him on the basis that he's incompetent and he can't stand trial. I said, oh, I see. So he can't stand trial, so they're not going to charge him. On 50 years worth of classified documents, he's incompetent. He won't have to stand trial, but he's allowed to run for president. So think of that. You have a guy that can't stand trial. He's not allowed to, by the U.S. attorney, the man doing it, Mr. Herr. Now, I've never heard of this before because he wasn't incompetent. He was never smart, but he wasn't incompetent 10, 15, 20. This is 50 years worth of documents. So he got off. In a sense, he got off. I said, I don't want to get off like that. I did nothing wrong. It's Presidential Records Act. I did nothing. You know, we have a deranged individual named Jack Smith. He's a deranged, dumb guy. He's a dumb son of a bitch. And what he did, and I just want to get off normal. Can you imagine, sir, they're exonerating you. They consider you to be incompetent. And therefore, because you're incompetent, they're going to exonerate you. I said, I don't want that. Let me be guilty before they do that. But think of it. They say he's incompetent, and therefore he can't stand trial. But he can run for president. And this is what you're voting for. And I never talked about this guy like this. But you watched him yesterday, and he is so bad for this country. They're all laughing. Everyone's laughing at him. The whole world is laughing, except for the fake news back there that try to pretend he did a good...
Yeah, we're not going to have time to Bible thump Hosea tomorrow, but we will do it the following week. Once we're done with dissecting a dictator, we'll spend a couple weeks doing Bible stuff, Bible stories. And then maybe we'll get into the Apocrypha. And I think the key point of the Apocrypha study is going to be focusing on why it's considered Apocrypha and it's not biblical canon. Because I don't want to encourage people to go into that stuff because a lot of it is mess. The crap about Seth and Lilith and the feminist Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Judas. A lot of that stuff is mess. Some of it's fun to read. Some of the stuff about dragons, some of that stuff is fun to read. But I don't want to mislead people. So I'm going to make sure to explain why it's considered apocryphal and not canon.
Good job, because they're fake and dishonest.
The books of secret knowledge. A lot of it is straight up blasphemy.
So we have a country that's in trouble. We're going to end the mandate on electric one day. They want to make all boats, too. I went to a boat company in South Carolina. The boat, I said, how is it? He said, it's a problem, sir. They want us to make all electric boats. These are boats that are from 16 to 35 or so feet. Fishing boats, leisure boats. Beautiful company in South Carolina. Beautiful. Guy's been doing it for 50 years. He sells hundreds of boats every couple of months. I mean, really fantastic guy. And they use the Mercury engines and different engines in the back. No problem. They want to take that out. They want to make it all electric. He said, the problem is the boat is so heavy, it can't float. I said, that sounds like a problem. He said, also, it can't go fast because of the weight. And they want to now have a 50-mile or a 70-mile radius. You have to go out 70 miles before you can really start the boat up. And you go out at 2 knots. That's essentially almost like 2 miles an hour. I say, how long does it take you to get out there? Many hours. And then you're allowed to go around for 10 minutes, but you have to come back because the batteries only last for a very short period of time. So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery, and the battery's now underwater, and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too, a lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted if the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking? Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted, or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, you know, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark. So we're going to end that. We're going to end it for boats. We're going to end it for trucks. The trucks on a tank of diesel fuel, a truck goes from New York, a big, beautiful Peterbilt or any one of these great companies. They go from New York to Los Angeles without a stop. With electric, much of the truck is used, the capacity for batteries. The batteries are very heavy and very big, very, very big, many times the size of a tank that carries lots of gallons of diesel. You have to stop 6 times, and you have to get chargers. There are no chargers. The whole thing is, it's the kind of thing that if your 5-year-old grandson were sitting up here and you gave him a quiz, he would say, don't bother with the electric. There's another thing. The truck is so heavy because batteries are very heavy. The truck weighs more than twice as much as a gasoline truck. So what happens, a diesel. So what happens is they have to fix every bridge all over the United States to handle the weight. Every bridge has to be rebuilt because the weight is double and triple that of a gasoline or diesel tank truck. And you say to yourself, who are these people that are destroying our country? Why are they destroying our country? Why is it that they're destroying our country? All of that stuff is going to end. We're not going to have men playing in women's sports. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. The weightlifter. You see the weightlifter, they break a record by like 130. A record stands for 18 years. And they're putting a quarter of an ounce on one side of a barbell and a quarter of an ounce. That's what it is, just if they could beat it by a half an ounce. And they just can't do it. They tried in the Olympic trials. A young woman, beautiful young woman, rather muscular, I must say, rather strong looking, beautiful woman. She gets up and her mother's in the front row and her father's in the front row and her relatives, everyone's rooting for her. Come on, baby, you can do it. She gets up, she can't do it. She can't. She gets up to here, I can't, no, Mom, I'm sorry, Mom. And this goes on and on, nobody was able to do it. Then this person that transitioned, lovely, he transitioned, recently transitioned, and they said, do you lift? Not much. Are you good? I don't know, I'll tell you after I try. And he goes over it, did you see this? Boom, bing, throws it down. Then he says, why don't I practice a little bit up here? He does it. The whole thing is crazy. Swimming the same thing, running the same thing. It's so demeaning to women. But these people can only want to destroy our country. Who wants open borders? Who wants men playing in women's sports? Who wants all electric cars? And by the way, I'm a big fan of electric cars. And, you know, it'll be a certain group of people that are going to want them where they travel short distances. I'm fine with it. But you have to be able to get gasoline, diesel, lots of other things. Or hybrids. Hybrids actually are, I think, a much better solution. You have to be able to get it. So we're going to do all these things. You know, basically, the Republican Party is a party of common sense. It's a party where we want closed, very strong borders. We don't want drugs coming in. If you really want to get rid of drugs, you go with the death penalty, but I don't think the country's ready for it. I would do it in a second. You know,
It just got way louder. They finally turned the mic up on him.
every drug dealer, and everybody here knows people whose family was devastated by the loss of a child because of fentanyl. But if you went with the death penalty, you would have no drug problem in this country. Instant, if it was a meaningful, not a trial that lasts 400 years. Like China, I was with President Xi. I said, do you have a drug problem? No, he didn't even know what I was talking about. He's got 1.4 billion people. I said, do you have a drug problem? He goes, no drug problem. I said, how do you do that? Essentially, he said, the death penalty. They call it quick trial. They have a trial, and it's quick. And by the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. See, now the press will take that, and they'll say, he said a horrible thing. They'll say, he said, you know what they did? I was just doing a little imitation of this horrible, horrible, worst president in the history of our country. So I imitated him a couple of times getting off the stage because he's unable to find a stare. Look, stare, 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 stare. All over you have stairs. When he finishes his 1.5-minute speech, you know, speeches last for about a minute, never takes questions. When he does, he picks up a thing and he goes, let's see here. Jill of NBC. Yes, where's Jill? I'm here, you know, right, because they put her there. So she'll read a question. What flavor ice cream is your favorite? And then he picks up the thing, vanilla.
Oh, I gotta go.
Think of it, what they do. You saw me in the White House. It was like war. What they do is they give the guy the question and the answer. They never did that with me. He's reading the answers to questions. He's calling a reporter from NBC fake news, CBS fake news, CNN, ABC. They're all pretty much the same. MSNBC is probably the worst, probably the most evil. They're sick. These are sick people. But they're all sort of the same. They're all bad. And they're all very dishonest. So, no, they know what I'm saying. I love that. I love you people. Where the hell are you from? Wow. I got to find out what was the magic word that got that little. But we're not going to let this happen with our country anymore. We're taking back our country. So when we get in, it's going to go very rapidly. We're going to do a lot of things. We're going to look very strongly at J6. Those people, there has never been people treated more horrifically than J6 hostages. Look at yesterday. They're picketing in front of the White House, and they're marking up the columns with red paint that doesn't come off, by the way. You have to probably sandblast it off. They're hitting red paint all over the place. They're putting red paint all over statues of Andrew Jackson, one of our presidents, actually considered a great general and a very good president. Red paint all over the place, representing blood. They're closing up gates. They're stampeding all over the place. And they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And we're going to change that around. We want to be fair. So we're going to change that. And we're going to change it. And we're going to change it fast. But those J6 warriors, they were warriors, but they were really more than anything else. They're victims of what happened. All they were doing is protesting a rigged election. That's what they were doing. And then the police say, go in, go in, go in, go in. How about Scaffold Joe, the guy on the scaffold? Or how about the big FBI guy or whatever, wherever he comes from? Go on in, everybody, go on in. What a setup that was. What a horrible, horrible thing. And, you know, that blows two ways. That blows two ways, believe me. And we don't want anybody doing something, but what they did to some of those people. They have yesterday a grandmother who's 72 years old who was praying. She was praying. And they arrested her for, I think, 4 years or something, right? 4 years. They put her in jail. It's sick what's happening. And I don't know why a Catholic would be voting for Joe Biden, because they have gone after Catholics at a level that nobody knows what's going on with Catholics. But they're going after Christians. They're going after evangelicals. And we're just not going to take it anymore. We're going to fight, and we're going to win the election. Because this is the most important election. So what we're going to do is very simple, probably in this order, but we can do 3 things at one time, and we can do a lot of things that first week. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to close that border tight as a drum, and we're going to let people come in, but only legally. The second thing we're going to do about 5 minutes later, it doesn't take long, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get your energy.
All right, I got to go, guys. Dreaded Conservative show tomorrow. How well is your Peter built? It's built pretty well. All right. Dreaded Conservative show tomorrow. We'll talk about the Alex Jones stuff. Steve Bannon. Basically, Patriots under attack before the election. Steve Bannon. And then we'll talk about the Washington Red Rally or whatever they're calling it. The huge Palestine protest that's been going on in D.C. And we'll talk about Bannon. We'll talk about Jones. We'll talk about the Palestine thing. And then the last episode of Dissecting a Dictator, the Fuhrer. There's a lot to discuss, and I got to be very careful with how I talk about it. So, the Fuhrer. And then after the Dreaded Conservative show, we will do the after party. Discord will be open all night. That's what's happening tomorrow, but I got to go to work right now, guys. So I will see you tomorrow. Hit the like button on your way out. Thanks for hanging out while I wasn't really talking much. I've been putting the show together, and go vote. Ballots are coming in the mail. We're going to play the Democrats game. Last election, we said, don't do mail-in ballots. Go show up and vote. This year, we're going to play their game, and we're going to beat them at it. If you get a ballot in the mail, do it in the mail. And then, just to be sure that they got your ballot and counted it in the mail, show up to the polls anyway to vote in person. And if they let you through, then heck, we'll vote twice. We're gonna play the same game the Democrats played. So it's gonna be too big to rig. We're gonna make sure that Trump gets in there this time. Otherwise, America is over as we know it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. God bless everybody. Have a good one. We out.